Hi, it's Mike with AskATractorMike.com. This is Sam, who runs the shop at the place where I used to work, S&H Farm Supply in Rogersville, Missouri. And I drug Sam in today. He's a service guy because we've got a letter from a viewer today, and it's a question I've had for a long time. I'm going to get Sam's opinion because Sam works on this stuff and has worked on this stuff for a long time.
15 years.
So let's get to our letter. The letter comes from Brian, and Brian says, Mike, the owner's manual gives a table of warm-up times for cold weather for my tractor. And he tells me what the tractor is, and for this video, it really doesn't matter, any brand we're going to talk about. And he says, I'm reading lots of conflicting information on the necessity of this, warming up the tractor, and would like your opinion. I know the motor will warm up far faster than the almost 10 gallons of hydraulic fluid.
Right.
I've been following the table because I don't want to damage my transmission. So, Sam, the question is, and I guess the first question I have is, what's cold? At what point does a diesel engine and a hydraulic system think this is pretty cold and we could do damage?
From the few manuals I got to read here today, it shows 32 degrees Fahrenheit or 0 degrees Celsius is what they would consider as the starting of cold. Most of your tractors, the glow plug system doesn't even come on until it's about 32 degrees, especially if it's an automatic system.
Okay, so we're at 32 degrees and we're getting ready to warm up our tractor. What do we need to do both for the engine and for that hydraulic system?
The first thing would be to let your glow plugs do their cycle. If it's an automatic, the light should go out within 10 to 30 seconds. And then they may be on in the background that you don't even know. And then once the engine starts, you want to leave it just off idle. You don't want to start really throttling up until you have probably up to about 5 minutes of runtime at 32 degrees. I guess it's going to vary a little how the tractor's responding. You don't want to push anything hard. As your viewer said, you get a lot of conflict on how long to let it go, if it's a hydrostat or a geared transmission. But on a tractor, you should be able to know that the tractor's ready to run between 2 to 5 minutes.
Now you're talking about full RPM, PTO rated engine speed.
No, that would be at less than 50% load. Okay. If you're needing to get on it and just start and go, don't go over that 50% throttle control.
Okay.
That would allow you to have some response, but not over pressurizing that cold oil or over pushing it to cause pressure buildups that you're not wanting.
Okay, now what I do, and I always wonder about this, I'm moving round bales around. And so I start my tractor up when it's 32 degrees or 25 degrees, whatever. It's a little harder to start at that temperature. I don't warm up anything, and maybe I should be. I mean, I'll let it run for maybe 20 seconds, and then I'll lift the loader up because that's moving the hydraulic fluid, and then I'll back out, and then I've got to go pick up a bale, and I've got to drive from the barn to the bale pile, and that's a pretty good distance. So when I get to the bale pile, then I'm going to put weight on the front of the tractor.
Right.
I figure by the time I get to the bale pile, I've run it enough that the oil's warm. I think what you're saying is,
it's not technically warm, no, but as long as you're not getting that whining noise out of the transmission or out of the hydraulics, and you're not getting a jerking feel in the front end loader or in your rear remote, then your system should be up and ready to go. What we're looking for is not deadheading a hydraulic system, and that would be putting pressure against the system that's, full stroke and where you're building the most pressure.
Okay.
And then that would keep you from having those high oil pressures when things ain't quite warm, and you can blow, that would be where you would blow seals and blow transmission or hydrostats out possibly.
Now when it's colder, like a lot colder, when it gets down around 10, the first thing we got to do is make sure we've got gel protection.
Right.
What's the magic temperature when the diesel gels and you're not going to be able to start it without putting something in to prevent it?
Well, the main thing is you have to put it in before it gets cold, and then run it while it's like today, a nice 50-degree day. And then once the fuel starts separating, or gelling they call it, between 15 and 17 degrees. And at that point, if you don't have something in there, you can't put nothing in there.
It's too late.
It's too late.
Yeah.
You have to get it inside to get it warmed up. And then at that point, you get that everything back to at least 45 degrees. Then you're able to add the fuel treatment, get it through the system, get it started, and then should be treated after that.
Okay, so if I'm down around 10 or 15 degrees and I want to feed bales, what I usually do is what you said first, start it up and let it run for 5 minutes. And you're saying that's probably what I should do even above that temperature, but definitely when it gets colder.
Right. You're going to hear the hydraulic noises. The engine's going to warm up pretty fast, and where you can go above that 50% engine load. But what you don't want to have that pressure against that transmission, because that's where you're going to have more of the problems. And it's more of an issue with the hydrostat. The loaders, you're going to notice they're going to be slow until they get warm. And then that's when the oil is able to flow as it should. That 10 to 15 degree mark is the hard part on any tractor. And then anything below that's going to be rough. Really rough. And you're going to have to take time to at least let the engine warm up. Now, maybe not so much to where you're seeing the temperature gauge come up, but you're going to hear a difference. And I would at least want 5 minutes in that 15 degree mark. And then that you're still going to have issues with driving it. You're going to want to still take it easy. You're not just going to put it in high gear, expect to go down the road.
Yeah, put it in a low range and don't work that transmission and don't work that loader.
Right.
The problem I get into every now and again when there's snow coming in, I'll put a bale in the barn, and then I want to start it up, lift the bale, and go out, and that's dangerous.
Right.
Need to let it run a little bit. Right. How much? And we live in Southwest Missouri, so this is not an area that gets extremely cold for extended periods of time, or at least hasn't in a long time. But when do you see damage? At what temperature? On a compact tractor, small tractor, or anything with hydraulics, when people don't warm them up? What's the magic temperature where you're really going to hurt them?
With that 0 to probably 15, 20 degree mark, if you're out there, you just jump on the tractor, start up, as soon as it gets oil pressure, you're full throttle and you're going, that's where you're going to see issues.
Yeah.
And I have seen hydraulic pumps blow. They blow the seals. You probably won't ever blow a cylinder, but that your problem is in the pump system or the motor of the hydrostat.
Okay, that's what you're going to see, and I guess it'll either stop and you'll hear a pop, or it'll start leaking
fluid everywhere.
Yeah. So the important thing is if you are, and this Brian is being really smart here,
right,
in warming up your temperature. And the question we had, and it's hard to find in an owner's manual, is the hydrostat. They tell you the engine warm-up time, but not the hydrostat. And really, as he noticed, your hydrostats is as much danger as your engine's in, or more.
It's probably the bigger concern would be the hydrostat. The engine, it'll handle it, but at those extreme cold, you're going to want that at least a 5 minute warm-up.
Alrighty.
Most of us don't ever do it, but
yeah,
as you agreed,
absolutely, so. We should, and it'll make your tractor last.
Yes,
and keep Sam from coming out on a service call and try to fix something that I screwed up.
Right.
All righty. I appreciate you watching my videos. If you'd like to subscribe to my YouTube channel, click here. Here's a couple of other videos you might want to watch. Thanks for watching.